First question we got up. Ahmed, I thought this was a great question, by the way. He says, do you guys see any drop on meta ads this month? We run lead gen campaigns until March. Our results were phenomenal, but since the outage, everything plummeted. Do you find a way to recover your ads? Adam says, what software platform do you all use for reporting SEO to clients? Michael says, is Leads Gorilla a good software for finding potential clients? It's something I'm considering looking at. There we are. Success. We are in the system. Firstly, I want to say excited to be back talking to all you guys. It's the progress you guys are making is kicking ass. Today I feel super blessed. I don't know how you guys are doing, but I woke up, had a dance party with my kids for like 2 hours, made breakfast, and I thought about, the former life. I had to drive to some shitty job first thing in the morning before I was finished sleeping after an alarm clock. And today I get to hang out and have breakfast and play with my kids. I'm like, man, what a life this agency thing has provided. So I want to show you guys some cool stuff. Just a quick little announcement before we get rocking and rolling. I'm doing a major overhaul again to the new Wolfpack, and I'm going to show you guys that in the next couple of days. But I'm excited because I want to make shit easier for you guys. Like, I was thinking about it. There are people in the space who have made more money than I have. And what I'm best at, I realized, is like the amount of leverage I have on my money machine far outweighs what most mere mortals, meaning I can put a little bit of input and get a crazy amount of output. And so I want to show you guys how little 5 to 10 minute inputs can create 5 or 10 clients at once. It's more rifle and less shotgunny. It takes very strategic focus and thinking. But I think it's so much smarter than what everybody else is teaching. So I'm going to break that down for you guys and show you some cool stuff that we're doing, and hopefully you guys will get some value and benefit from that. And if you're interested in checking that out, there is a link below where you can go to beyondagencyprofits.com. There's a link there that says Wolfpack. You can check out the deets if you guys are interested in that. Anyways, let's get into the good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all I'm never quite ready to do that first thing in the morning. Let me get a drink, some juice here. Children of all ages, Frankie Finn proudly brings to you our weekly Q&A. Seriously, one of the things of living in the desert where we do it, you feel dry as a motherfucker all the time. First question we got up. Ahmed, I thought this was a great question, by the way. He says, do you guys see any drop on meta ads this month? We run lead gen campaigns until March. Our results were phenomenal, but since the outage, everything plummeted. Do you find a way to recover your ads? So firstly, Ahmed, this is one of the things that I had a love-hate relationship with Facebook ads, meta ads as they're now called, although I still call them Facebook ads because I'm an old man. So one of the things is they work for a while, and then they just stop working, right? It's the nature of social, is people get bored of seeing the same thing over and over. They always need the next dopamine hit of something new and whatever. And so I doubt it had very much to do with the outage. Like sometimes Facebook ads just hum along and then they stop working like overnight, and you got to like constantly change them and tweak them. So I'll tell you how you can revive old ads. I'll tell you the easiest way I've ever found to do that. Take the exact same ad, the exact same copy, the exact same offer, and the exact same landing page, and change the image. Like literally just put a new picture to it, and what you'll find is you can breathe new life into old ads. Sometimes it helps to come at the creative from a different angle. Like if you had an offer that's working, you don't necessarily need to come up with a new offer, but you got to just find a new way to kind of massage it and say it. But usually, almost always, you can revive old ads with new images. I'm not saying that will work forever because Facebook is designed to be the next dopamine hit of the new thing. So you have to kind of like constantly come up with something new. And even though we've made a lot of money with Facebook ads and I like them a lot, that was probably one of my least favorite parts of it, is that like whatever set and forget is, Facebook is the polar opposite of set and forget. Like you got to watch those things, and you got to be on top of them, and you got to be constantly testing and updating and playing with them. So but I hope that helps you to revive what was working for you, because it doesn't need to be some like dramatic crazy change. Just try a new image first thing. It'll probably start working again once you get a new image in place. But bear in mind, Facebook is always dinking around with the algorithm, and so who knows, right? So but that's my way of saying, like, try the easiest, simplest thing first. Cosmo says, We got some Facebook ad questions. Hello, fellows. 2 meta ad campaigns with exact same targeting of 3 ad groups, both lead account campaigns, same business manager, same account, same meta page, same user targeting, same lead form questions, but with different ad copy and creative, different lead form copy. One shows $90 CPM, one shows $30 even CPM, even after duplicating campaigns and retrying. What gives? Any guess why such a big difference in CPM? Are we getting penalized due to ad copy or something else? So I'm going to give you a simpler answer, my man Cosmo, which is control the controllables, right? I've only really found that you control 4 major things in Facebook ads that swing the needle. Who you target, in other words, like who are you going to show this message to, what you offer them, like what you actually are giving away in the thing, what image you use to grab their attention about the offer, and then the copy you use. And I gave them to you in order of what I think the most important is, like who you show the ads, number 1, number 2, what you offer them. And so a lot of times I see people get caught up in, should I duplicate this? Should I only raise the budget so much? And I'm not saying all of those things don't matter. They do, but like those are the things that are the least in your control, whether the algorithm likes your ad or things like that. But you control those 4 controllables. And we found the best success over the years obsessing over the 4 controllables, right? Like who are we targeting? What are we offering them? What are we saying? What image are we using to grab their attention, right? Like if you really kind of nail down those 4 kind of fundamentals, what you'll find is all of the campaign duplication settings and the who we target, all of those things get easier because the ads will work more frequently. That doesn't mean you're going to like hit a home run every time, but you'll find your shit works more because you're setting it up to win. So hope that makes sense. Hope that helps you. Man, Cole, this was more just something I wanted to rant on than necessarily it was a question, but Cole had something that I thought was really powerful. He said, opportunity handled well leads to more opportunities. Stumbled across this quote on a Twitter thread. I still can't for the life of me call it X, as I'm exploring all this opportunity in the creator economy, watching my car guy YouTube channels, reading the comments and listening for clues, imagining where I'll be when they say yes, while hoping I don't sound like a complete idiot when I approach them. Admittedly, there's some fear because I respect these people and what they've built, but it's kind of fun watching their content for opportunity rather than just to pass the time by. So firstly, my dude, I love the way you're thinking on that. I really do. Because, a big part of this for me personally was, as I mentioned, so to take you guys back, for those of you guys not familiar with what Cole's talking about, we did a recurring revenue workshop, and I was showing that in the creator economy, there's people who've built hundreds of thousands or even millions of people into warm audiences. And a lot of times people assume like you're a mega deca trillionaire if you got 600,000 followers. But a lot of times those people are like not doing so well, and sometimes they're even broke, right? And so the biggest thing you can do is you can help those people monetize followings and take a percentage. And it's actually really easy to do because they've done the hard work of building the following and building a relationship and making people like, know, and trust them. So it's very easy to like find stuff that's related and add value. So that was kind of the whole gist of it. And it's very little work. It's all just like kind of seeing how pieces fit together. It takes a little bit of vision, a little bit of creativity, seeing the opportunity. But as Cole's noticing, like it shifts your mind from thinking about just consuming YouTube to how to get paid for it. Now, the part I wanted to talk about is something that I think that a lot of you guys deal with, and I've definitely dealt with over my life, is this, Cole mentioned there's a fear of like, I hope I don't sound like a complete fucking idiot. And I'm here to tell you, if you are going to be successful in business in the long run, where I mean like 6 years, 12 years, 10 years, 50 years even, you're going to sound like a fucking moron at some point for some shit you try. And that comes with the territory. So like, sometimes when people have irrational fears, it's more like a thought in their head that's not reality, but that one is actually very much a reality, that you will say and do something that will make you look stupid. Now, I'll give you an example of something that we did over the years. I remember we were trying to crack Facebook ads, like I want to say 7-8 years ago. We were spending a lot of money trying to figure them out. And I remember our office manager had an idea for an ad, and we both thought it was going to be something very polarizing. It would either work or it wouldn't. And there was a little girl. She had run through a patch of mud, and her horse and her like fell in the mud, and they looked like they're like, please help me, right? Like they're reaching up. I'm not laughing at the ad. It was probably a little on edge. I'm just laughing that we didn't see that at the time. So we ran it to lawyers, and it said, do you feel like your law practice is stuck in the mud? And we got so much hate for that ad. People like shared it. And then we realized that like we look like fucking idiots, right? Like to our entire marketplace. And we spent a lot of money on the ad. So it wasn't like nobody saw it and like we got so much hate so quickly. And I tell you that because like we look like idiots and there was nothing I could do about it. Like we were just trying to figure out Facebook ads. But that's my way of saying like you will probably say and do something dumb, but like this is important because like it removes the need to like say and do the perfect thing, right? Like the progress is just putting yourself out there and trying it. And I want you guys to understand that like we all deal with the fear of looking stupid sometimes, and a lot of times that prevents you guys from putting stuff out in the world that actually adds value and helps people's lives. But once you understand you are going to look fucking stupid, what will happen is most times that the people you look stupid to, you'll find out they don't really matter in the long term anyway. Like they're not going to be at your funeral. They're not going to be standing there going, "Oh my God, you died," right? So that's my way of saying like. For me, what helps is I just mentally prepare for like I'm going to say and do some dumb shit, and that's okay, right? Like it's okay. I say dumb shit all the time, right? So if you guys are cool with that, then what you'll find is you don't have to make a big deal. Sometimes you'll say some stupid shit. Sometimes you'll say the perfect line. A lot of times you'll say some shit that's in the middle. It's totally okay. And part of it is I think I see this across the agency space. Is just like that internal, just making it okay to have what you really want in life. Without any conditions. Like a lot of times people try and justify, like I want to become a millionaire, I want to get it to 8 figures, and they start like justifying why, because I want to help the orphans and I want to support my favorite charity and leave a legacy behind. Like you don't need any of those fucking reasons. Like you can just be a selfish, greedy, capitalist asshole if that's the real reason. But I'm not suggesting you shouldn't have both selfish and benevolent reasons, but it's okay to like you don't have to justify it. Like you can just say like I want to have cool shit, and that's it. So I say that because I hope that's helpful to a lot of you guys that are struggling a little bit with the internal part of it, of like trying to say and do the right perfect thing and then not feeling like you quite fully deserve what you want to go get. Just like own that shit. And this only, by the way, this only happens to smart people. Like dumb people don't have those issues because they can't think. Dumb people can't think 3 steps ahead and think like, what if I say something really stupid and this influencer I'm like totally in love with, enamored, like fucking hates me, right? Like they don't have those issues because they can't think 3 steps ahead. But you have to be okay with you may actually do that sometimes, and that's cool, right? And usually, by the way, almost always those things are fixable. So it's like, hey, sorry, dude, I didn't mean to say and do this dumb thing. Like I hung out with a guy who like doesn't swear, and for me, like I can't even finish 2-3 sentences without a swear word, right? As you guys have surely noticed by now. So I just say that because like. You're going to offend some people. You're going to say the wrong thing. It's all good. Like it's totally okay. And the opportunities are endless, by the way. So even if you say and do some dumb shit, there's always there's literally another opportunity next door. And it's only growing, by the way. In the creator economy, there's more people getting into it by the second. So and more of them don't know how to monetize it, right? So they're all struggling with this thing. Ben says, bit of a niche question, but hoping someone's got experience working with realtors in here. How can I charge my clients when they close one of my leads without breaking any laws? Looking to start charging commission when they close a sale that came from my leads, but I've only recently learned that it's illegal to split commission with someone who isn't a licensed agent. Is there a workaround? Any sort of different structure I could try? Firstly, Ben, if you plan on being in the game long term, like we're talking like 5, 10, 20 years, like if you're sure realtors are the people you want to work with, then you may want to consider long-term getting that license so that you can get paid exactly what. Especially with real estate agents, I believe it's a couple $1,000s, don't quote me on that, in a weekend course, you're a licensed realtor. Bada bing, bada boom, right? So that's option number 1. Now, anything I say next, don't take this as legal advice. I'm just telling you what has worked for us and other friends of mine and things like that, because in the legal industry, you can't pay a commission to a non-lawyer. It's a very similar challenge. But there are lots of ways you can ethically pay it. So say, for example, you send a client 10 leads and they convert 2 of them, and they're willing to pay you, like, I don't know, say $1,000 every time they sign somebody, and you got them 2, so they were willing to pay you $2,000 for the 2 they signed. You charge them for all 10, and you charge a set price per lead, and you say, I'll charge you $200 a lead. And you'll be able to even those numbers out over time, but what will happen is they're really paying you for the result, but it's a legal workaround. Another example somebody mentioned, you can charge consulting fees. So you can say, I'm going to run this thing for a minimal fee, and then every time we get a deal, I want to charge you a consulting fee for this, right? And they can legally pay consulting fees. So there are workarounds to that, but if you're going to play it long term, like I would just actually do it the legal way, become a licensed realtor. You don't have to actually even sell any homes to do it. But again, this is not legal advice. Just so you guys know, don't take any, go figure it out for yourself. I'm just telling you what the workarounds are in our space that may be useful to you, may not be. Adam says, what software platform do you all use for reporting SEO to clients? Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys something. As somebody who sold SEO for like a fucking decade, okay? See, I have to swear, as mentioned earlier. You can use every reporting software under the fucking sun for SEO, and my experience has been they won't understand it no matter what, because SEO is like a foreign language to business owners. And so what I found is a format. It does not matter which reporting software. It matters how you explain the report to the client. And I found this is what works for us, is just tell them in plain English these 4 things. Here is what we are doing for you. Here is why we are doing that thing for you. Here's how it's going. And that includes all the numbers and metrics and things like that. And here's what we're going to do next. I'm telling you, if you just nail those 4 things, you can do, and you can do this, by the way, in like a 2-minute little update video, or train somebody on your team to do the little 2-minute update video, and you just batch them all. So you do you got 100 clients, you do 100 of them in a row. That's how we used to do it. Like 2-minute video to this client, 2-minute video to that client, 2-minute client, and just send them all out one after another in same format every time. Here's what we're doing, client. Here is why we are doing that thing. Here's how it's going. Hey, we're a little behind schedule, but we're making up time by doing blah, blah, blah. Here's what you can expect next. Last month we were number 7, so I want to get, you'll see, I want to get our geo grid, so we're have some number 3s in there by next month. But explain that to them in simple, everyday English, not in, I've had business owners say this exact phrase, like lots of them, not just 1 or 2, where they say, great report, but what does this mean? And then they'll say the line, which is, this looks like hieroglyphs to me. Meaning this looks like a, so I see these people, they have these Google Analytics charts and they look pretty and it shows charts and metrics, but they're like, I don't know what any of this fucking means. Are we doing good or not, right? Like, I don't hear any phone calls coming in, right? Like that's how they interpret it. So you want to, you can use any software you want, just, it's not the software, it's how you explain the report you send over, and we found that format to be the best way. Michael says, is Leads Gorilla a good software for finding potential clients? It's something I'm considering looking at. Haven't heard dick, fuck all good shit about Leads Gorilla. That is not to say I've heard bad stuff, but I haven't heard anything. Gonna give you 2 answers. Way number 1, if you got a budget, Coldlytics, dude, like not only does Coldlytics, I'll tell you why I'm a big fan of Coldlytics and Matt and what he's put together. 2 reasons. Reason number 1, they're the only tool I know where you can reverse engineer all the people spending money by the tags on their website. And secondly, it's the only one I know that gets the actual business owner's email, not the catch-all. So it's like the difference, like if you're trying to email a dental office and you send to the main email that goes to the gatekeeper is going to ignore, delete that shit, and the dentist will never even see it. As where if you email the dentist directly, he will see it, and it's got a chance of actually working, right? Because you're at least talking to the decision maker, right? So that's why I'm a big fan of Coldlytics. So if you could pay for it, do that. There's a code, Frankie50, Frankie25, I don't know. You have to ask Matt, but it gives you some bonus credits. I get a little tiny kickback if you're using Coldlytics, but I don't do it for the little tiny kickback. I just want you guys to know, for real, it's because this is the best tool for finding the actual owner. Now, secondly, if you can't pay for it, better than any lead scraping bullshit, you're better literally just Googling it in the beginning than trying to, than dropping $37 on some software that's just going to scrape a bunch of fucking garbage for you. You legitimately just use Google, your best friend. It's a free tool, other than the fact that they try and sell you ads and shit like that. But it's super easy, and that is if you don't have the budget, just use Google. You know, dentist Atlanta, right? It's not that hard to find. You guys are getting your heads blown up. You're like, there's a new tool called Google. No, I'm just fucking with you guys. This was a really good one. This shows me the progress you guys are making. Daniel says, sales rep compensation question. Should reps be compensated on retainer package on a one-time upfront basis, or should they be compensated every month that the client stays as they work to manage the client relationship? Retain the client. Appreciate your insight in advance. So check this out, Daniel. I'm going to give you a two-part answer. Part one, I will answer your question directly, and part two, I'm going to tell you what I think is a better way, which will eliminate the need for the question in the first place. So part one of the question is, what do you pay salespeople? Now, there's a tendency for you, because you're awesome and want to share value with your people, to then think that you have to pay them for as long as the client stays. Believe it or not, if you give most people the choice between $1 today and 10 cents a month forever, even though 10 cents a month is clearly a better deal, most people will opt for the $1 today because they're in desperation and there's scarcity, and so more money now is better than continuous money later, right? Which is, it's probably a bad decision in the long term, but like most people are very short-term focused. And this is especially true of salespeople, just, you know, even the ones that are really good, in my experience anyway. And so what I found, it's better to just give them a bigger big chunk up front now than it is to include them on the back end. Even though they would make more money on the back end and they would get paid for longer and their income would stabilize, most salespeople view it very like binary, make a sale, get a commission. So that is my way of saying it. Typically what you'll find is the most standard things are like 10 to 20%. I always like to pay salespeople more because I found like you can get better salespeople if you're willing to pay for it. And so I was like okay with usually typically anywhere from like $500 to $1,000. I would say probably most typically $1,000. Like, so if we had a $2,500 a month thing, almost half of month one is going to the salesperson for closing that deal. But if you find that, you'll be able to find good salespeople, because especially if you have inbound opportunities and, you know, the ability to, you know, put people on their calendar, that's a very desirable thing for a salesperson, where you're going to fill my calendar with people. I just got to show up to the calls and I get $1,000 every time I close somebody. Like, that's a very desirable package to find good salespeople. So that is what has worked for us. Now I'm going to tell you the downside to having salespeople and why we do it differently now. Because salespeople are people, and people have ups and they have downs. And so sometimes we would find our salespeople would go like 10 for 10, and they would practically dislocate their shoulder, patting themselves on the back, telling us how awesome they were. And then salespeople have downs. They go 0 for 6. Nobody bought in 6 straight calls. And they get real fucking down on their luck, and they think, well, I don't know what I'm doing anymore, and I don't know why. I must have lost my touch. I lost my mojo. And you have to almost coach them back to sanity. And so what happens is, at least in my experience, the really good salespeople, even the awesome ones, they're the opposite of level. They like ride the sales roller coaster of emotions up and down. And this is why we have switched to video, because Video Me does not have that problem. Also, Video Me in Video You, if you want to do that, is like available 24/7, right? You can, and what I found is there's a hidden metric in terms of like getting clients and making money in your marketplace and it's very simple: offers made. And so, in which scenario do you think you're going to make more offers in the marketplace, where you have to hire a great person and screen them and train them and teach them how to handle the calls? Or if you just got a video and people can just watch the video, like which one of those do you think is going to make more offers in the marketplace? So even if you do video worse than salespeople, you'll get more sales through video. And so this is the thing people always ask me too as well. They say, like, what are your conversion rates on your Loom videos? And I tell them it's like typically like 15-20%. They go, aha, like I close 60% of my calls. But they don't realize it's not apples to apples, because if 10 people are willing to jump on a call with you, then like 100 people will watch your video, at least, right? So what happens is, yeah, you might only convert 15 of the 100, but the other person's only getting 10 opportunities. So even if they go 6 out of 10, that's less than 15, because you get 10 times the amount of opportunities and you made 10 times the amount of offers in your marketplace. So this is my way of saying you can do whatever the fuck you want, but I would try and figure out how to sell through Video You, especially if you're naturally oriented towards sales and marketing and you like being the face of the company and you like talking. Like, it just works, man. It just works. Sell through video. It's like way easier. So that's what I'm going to suggest, but give it a try. We have that available on our website. For those of you guys who are interested, you can go to beyondagencyprofits.com. There is the Loom conversion machine, and it'll show you guys how to build those. We've had so many people. I get so many messages now from people every day, or every couple of days, who will message me and say, like, hey, like, holy shit, like, I sold some shit through video. Like, I'm never going back. And I was in my pajamas. Like, it was the client wanted to talk at 3 a.m, and I couldn't talk then, so I just sent them a video, and it worked. Like, holy shit, they're ready to go. So I want to like help you guys get to that space, because there's way more leverage in video than there is in salespeople, and that's what you're really after. Is you want sales with leverage, not necessarily like a great salesperson. So hope that's helpful to you. And looks like we got the last question on the docket. Merrick says, I'm curious to know, any U.S.-based agencies here working with businesses in Canada and Australia? Is it even logistically possible? Yeah, my dude. We got tons of people doing it. I'm a Canadian born who has spent a lot of time in America, but I'm still originally Canadian. And I live in Mexico. And so you can be almost anywhere. Like